No, you're not.
All right, cool. So this event is a career spotlight event. The main purpose of it is to allow like the youth of different places of the world, specifically in Hong Kong, to learn more about crypto, Web3, and like how they can possibly pursue a career in this growing space, which is moving really quickly. And we do this by having like three very prominent experts in the industry, which are youth speakers. So I just want to say thank you for joining our meeting, and it's a pleasure to have you guys here, and we are all gonna learn a lot of things from you guys. So again, thank you for joining, and thank you for everyone who joined this meeting. We're gonna post this meeting on YouTube so it can have like a greater audience and more people can be aware about the career paths of you guys and possibly learn from the career paths of you guys. So without further ado, let's start this meeting right now. Can any of you guys please first introduce yourself and your background and how you got into this Web3?
I guess I can start first, because my experience in the field is relatively short. So my name is Kathy. I actually have a PhD in kind of a machine learning topic. So I'm not like really a native crypto person for very long. My first encounter with Web3 technology is actually back in college when I first heard about Bitcoin. And the reason that I didn't join Web3 for so long was because I saw the price in Bitcoin, and I actually didn't buy any when I was in college, right? So there's a thing that like, oh, I already missed it for so long. Like, do I get into it now? Then I feel like so much regret, etc. But I mean, what prompted me to finally join the field though is that I learned about this new technology that everyone is talking about right now about crypto, which is zero knowledge proof. And it pretty much like overturned everything that I understood about blockchain, that if things have to be public, that everything has to be transparent. And it really attracts me that, oh, there's actually something that can be done on blockchain technology that can keep things private and like moving things much more quickly for like mass adoption. So that's kind of why yeah, I got into this field, and I guess yeah, I will talk a little bit more about that later.
So it's actually pretty interesting that like at first in university you actually didn't get into this field because the price action on like the volatility and stuff is actually overshadowing all like the technology and like the things inside Web3 that not many people actually like realize and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't realize the utility until I heard more about it, right? So like for many years, it's all about the price and stuff. So that's.
Yeah. You in any like technology or like even Web3 blockchain related clubs when you were in like university?
No, not much. I would say that the youth right now is actually very lucky because there are so many schools talking about like having courses or events about blockchain technology now. Like when I was in college, even though it's already like several years into Bitcoin, there's nothing. So yeah, it's a very different world right now.
Interesting development.
And Cheryl?
Okay, I'm Cheryl. Actually, the first that I got my attention about the Web3 space is like Kathy, is like because of the Bitcoin. But then it was really back to 2010, and when one of my friend who owns his company, he used his server to mine the Bitcoin. But then because it's the very beginning, it's the birth of the Bitcoin, and there's no valuation, no utility of the Bitcoin. So I just heard of it, and I find it interesting. It's like a really pretty new idea to me, but then I just put aside because there's really nothing nothing meaningful to me. But then back to the 2014, I received some Bitcoins from my family as a Christmas gift. And then I just checked on the market pricing, and I found that, wow, okay, it's after like a dozen of the years, and then it goes up like this. So I start to look at the market a bit, but still I just keep it. I didn't do anything with it because there's a again, it's not much utility or value to me. It's like just a price. So I just keep it there. But then back to the turning point, I think, is back to the 2018. And I start to feel like I want to look at it again. And then I find that there's tons of new protocols in Web3 space, like Compound, Uniswap. I think they are doing something very innovative, and they're doing something new. And it's like a mind-blowing that they are trying to redefine like the current traditional financial the methodology and the way that they are running the finance field. So I started to take a very, very deep look on this ecosystem and check the blockchain technology. And then I look at it deeply in the business level and the tech level. So I start to feel like it's really a time that it will be going big. And then I start, because as my background, I always IT engineer, and I did run my business before. So I just find that it's full of opportunity. And then I try to understand what kind of the technology backing up this ecosystem. And then I found that Solidity, smart contract, the Ethereum, a lot of this. So I start taking courses in Hong Kong and Ethereum consensus. And I found that the more I dig into, I found I really like to be a participate in this industry. So that's why I'm here right now. Yeah.
Interesting background. So like similar to like Kathy, you were just focusing about like the price action, like what most people told you about Web3 or like Bitcoin back before 2017. Like everyone knows 2017 was like the ICO boom. So then that was when you finally figured out that there was utility beyond this space, and you saw like many possibilities. You dug deep into it, and after that you kept doing research and more research, and that led to the position you are in right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I remember you said like your friend was mining Bitcoin on like your server back in like 2012 or before 2017, right? Yeah, this
I don't
kind
know where the Bitcoins they are right now, actually.
of reminds me of like Duncan's project, which he's building right now, and it's currently still in the proof of work mining. So I'm gonna pass it over to Duncan right now. Same drill. Can you please describe yourself, about your background in this space, stuff like that, and also possibly talk about that proof of work blockchain that you're building right now? Because I remember you said you're building businesses right now.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Hi, I'm Duncan. Thanks for having me over here. So just follow the same drill. Let me talk about how I got into this field and what project that I'm currently working on. So back to like 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto had this paper. At that time, I was a professor teaching at City University of Hong Kong. And to me as a professor, and also at that time, I was doing research in cryptography. So I was actually thinking about doing the security analysis of the Bitcoin system, looking into what kind of digital signature algorithm which was using, and also how to so-called improve it or how to crack it. So I spent a few years on that. That's how I began working on blockchain. It's basically looking into how to hack it. So I always start from like security analysis. So maybe because this is my professional, I always look into the vulnerability and also on the improvement of the blockchain technology. So after spending a few years over there, managed to write a few papers on how to improve Bitcoin, how to improve the consensus protocol and all that. The projects really interest me and got me into blockchain was actually Monero. If you know what Monero was, actually back to like 2014, Monero is a privacy preserving blockchain, which is a blockchain system, while at the same time, they have a privacy con, and it make use of one of my research results to build that. So I had nothing to do with Monero, but they nicely make use of the digital signature algorithm that I co-invented back to 2004. So basically, like 10 years ago, before they invented Monero, I published a paper talking about linkable ring signature. And of course, at that time, I had no idea how to make use of that linkable ring signature into like a real life use case until 2014. Some team behind Monero, they invented Monero and make use of linkable ring signature to build a privacy preserving blockchain system. So that's basically how the blockchain technologies fascinated me and then brought me into this field. And I spent a lot more time on that. I've been working not just on security analysis, but so-called get my hands dirty and start mining back to 2014. So I started some of the little mining projects and also trying to design my own blockchain technologies. And after a few years, back to 2017, I started my own company. So basically gave up my career as a professor and started the startup, which is called Crypto4Kids. So right now I'm the CEO of Crypto4Kids. I've been running Crypto4Kids for 5 years. And Crypto4Kids is an enterprise blockchain powerhouse. I usually call it a powerhouse because basically Crypto4Kids, like Cheryl is also working at Crypto4Kids. We built blockchain products with our collaborators and our clients. We have been working with some major banks. We have also been working with some insurance companies and try to streamline the workflow by making use of blockchain technologies. In addition to that, we are also working on something called non-crypto blockchain, like Spartan, or in mainland China, there is a chain called Information Ethereum that we are currently building together with our partners as well. So we are actually running a few very exciting projects at Crypto4Kids. And at the same time, I'm also working together with some of my professor friends on a new blockchain project, which is called Abelian. This new blockchain project actually is not that new because I started doing the design together with my friends back to 2017. And we published a white paper in 2018 and further updated it last year, 2022. So Abelian is a post-quantum blockchain system. So what it means is that it makes use of cryptographic algorithms which are designed to be secure not just against conventional computers, but it's designed to be secure against attacks from quantum computers, from universal quantum computers. So we believe that this one is pretty cool. Of course, as researchers at the very beginning, we don't ask ourselves what kind of use cases there are. We just think that this is really the future. And turn out it is really the case. For example, like the American standardization body, which is called NIST, last July, they just announced the final list of those post-quantum algorithms. And in 2 years' time, in 24 months, the American government is going to promote these post-quantum algorithms to replace the federal government's encryption and digital signature algorithms. And also a bunch of pretty high-profile supporters of the blockchain industry are also talking about how to migrate or upgrade blockchain technologies into post-quantum. So I think this is really a right timing for us to build this Abelian project. It's not just post-quantum, but also it supports privacy preserving, kind of like Monero. But we are making the privacy preserving part into like optional, like several levels. The first level is definitely kind of like Bitcoin, anonymous but traceable. Second level is like anonymous and untraceable, like Zero Cash or Monero. And then the third level that we are currently building is called privacy with accountability, which means it is anonymous and traceable to eavesdroppers or to the public, But if an authority has a trapdoor, then the authority will be able to downgrade the anonymity level to the Bitcoin level, traceable by anonymous. So it's very exciting, and I'm spending a lot of time basically running two things. One, to make sure the success of CryptoBlock, growing our enterprise business with Cheryl, and also a bunch of teammates over here. And at the same time, at CryptoBlock, we are also building this Billion project. And I think this is really a very exciting project. By the way, if you are interested in this, feel free to go to our site and download the software and start doing some mining as well. Thanks.
I'll put the description. I'll put the like the links to the description. So like possibly everyone can like run a full node over here.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
For people who are trying to get into the Web3 space, what do you recommend they start doing or like start learning?
Anyone can go first.
As a person that recently got into, well, not so recent, I've been in the field for maybe 1 year, definitely less experience than Cheryl and Duncan. Well, I guess it depends on two directions. So I'm a pretty tech side of things person. So I would say for the tech side, just really, well, first of all, get your hands dirty, right? So try to launch some smart contracts, get your own, or even actually go into the market and get some coins, try to participate in different projects. I think some of the developers that I've met before, some of them actually never have a wallet, but they are doing like smart contract development. And I think that actually really detached them from, what is the user actually looking for, etc. So I think that's one thing. And then I guess in general, also just really get to know your blockchain 101, like, proof of work, consensus mechanisms, and what is the pros and cons of blockchain. And I think that is for both, like, I guess, tech roles and business roles as well. Because like you really need to know the technology, or at least enough so that, well, first of all, you can have a conversation with other people in the field, which I think is really what Web3 is all about right now. It's about all this brainstorming and clashes of ideas. And the other reason why you would really want to at least know the technology well enough is for you to generate new ideas, right? Because everyone is just being very experimental right now. Like there's no one money-making idea. And it's all about like trying out different things and see which one would work, or even kind of like prompt mass adoption. So I think study, although it's kind of cliche, it's actually quite true, especially because blockchain is not something that you might see day to day. So it does require you to go and look up for like good resources to understand how it works.
I think like that's a pretty good like path. Just first get your hands dirty, and then after just keep experimenting with some different technologies, write some smart contract and stuff. One question that like a lot of people, like some, like for example university students or young people who want to get into this space and they have like a technical background, but one question that they keep on asking is like, which technology should I use? Like which chain should I launch my smart contract on? What kind of project should I build? Like, all this stuff, right? Like Ethereum or Solana or like Cardano, right? How will you like suggest people to like first how you suggest people to like understand what they really want to build first, and then once they finally know what they want to build first, they go and execute it? Because usually the thing is like many people, they just do things for just like tinkering, right? They just do things for doing things, but most of the time they don't know really what's the economic value and what's like the thing that they're going to really learn from what they're really learning from. And that's the problem that many people have, that they want to go into space, but they don't really have that kind of like idea what they like really want to build. So what kind of like links or what kind of resources can you share to help people guide the direction to the path where they can put some value behind what they're learning to get inside Web3?
I think that's a very good question, and it depends on the learning style as well. So, well, I guess generally there are a lot of videos online on YouTube that would lead you step by step. But I know it's useful for a lot of people, but personally, that's not how I learn. And well, actually, let me get to the question step by step. So the first part of the question is like which chain, right, or how to get started. I used to be very EVM, Ethereum virtual machine compatible centric, right? So Solidity and other EVM language. But recently, I really start to think that it doesn't quite matter. And the way that I think for me personally best to start is to join a lot of different hackathons. So instead of, let's say, so I have been coding in Solidity for quite a while, right? And then recently I wanted to learn about other Rust-based virtual machine, Solana, Near, etc. So instead of watching a bunch of videos on Rust and then go into like Near specific videos, I actually just joined NearCon, which is like their hackathon and their conference, right? So even though like the project actually didn't work out because I was working on it remotely, but then I picked it up like really fast. So I think hackathon is depends on the learning style. Hackathon is also a good way to actually pick up something and learn something. So I also joined a hackathon that was run by CryptoBlock, well, co-hosted by CryptoBlock, right? So I knew nothing about a billion before the hackathon, and during the hackathon for a few days, I learned a lot about the billion network that Duncan just mentioned. So hackathon is definitely a very good way if you want to challenge yourself and learn something like really quickly and get into it.
Oh, so by the way, speaking about hackathons, there are many hackathons that specifically that I know of the Ethereum community is gonna host. They're gonna host it, I think, like around the world. For example, like in Toronto, in Paris, in Tokyo, and there's also online hackathons as well. So that's a good way to, as you mentioned, get your hands dirty and like learn like different stuff, learn like new technologies really quickly and understand what you're building, because in the end of the day, you're building something, right? And it's also a great way to meet people who are like-minded in this industry with you. So hackathons definitely are a great way to know people, and that's actually where like I knew you and like stuff, right, in the Web3 Dev Hackathon 2022.
Yeah, and also I would like to also take the opportunity to thank Kathy for supporting the hackathon over there, organized by us. And yeah, her idea is amazing, and making use of the zero knowledge idea to further secure the wallets. That's really great. And in addition to the advice and suggestions provided by Kathy, I can't agree more. I just want to add one more point over here, is that, for example, if you are interested in the blockchain infrastructure, in addition to the EVM or the smart contract layer, you might want to spend some time to read white papers. Actually, I started most of my blockchain work by reading through the white papers, because the white paper basically tells you the objective and the rationale behind why they want to do this and that. And sometimes the white paper will also give great details on the design. For example, like I remember last time I read the Solana white paper talking about their consensus protocol. I'm really looking into the security analysis again on their consensus protocol, and try to figure out why they will be able to support, say, 400,000 transactions per second. Try to basically go deep into the bottom and see exactly how their claim can be justified. And you might only be able to find out the real reasons behind by going through the white paper before reaching out to the authors, to the team, and discuss with them. So I just want to add in this one more point, is that reading those white papers seems also to be a very solid and fundamental thing to do, in addition to what Kathy shared over here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good suggestion. White papers, it's often like one of the first things that I go to when I'm like looking into like a new project. and even if you're not like, for example, you don't really have like a technical background, but like many white papers are actually pretty technical. Some projects they have something called beige paper, which you can read. It's just basically like an abstracted version of like how everything works. So it gives you like a clearer idea if you're if you like not as like sophisticated into this, then you can like read the beige paper and have a greater idea. But those are really great suggestions.
Yeah, I actually totally agree with Duncan and Kathy, because for my learning path, I'm from a very traditional IT industry and jumped into this blockchain industry. So the way I learn is actually try to do as much as research I can in a high level way to understand the ecosystem first, and then understand the basic idea, fundamental idea, and make it solid to me. For example, the consensus and different kinds of the blockchain. And then I try to open some wallets, and then try to understand it in the user way first. And then I pick the protocol that I'm interested, and then read the white paper and understand the project. So bit by bit, I drill down to the coding level, and then try to get my hands dirty, and then do some sample exercise, sample projects on my own, and then just join the metaphon and know more people. And I think with the high level understanding and drill down to technical understanding and skills, that will really help me to solidate myself in this industry.
Yeah, like hackathons, get your hands dirty, understand the high level architecture, and know what you're trying to build. Those are all really great suggestions that you guys threw into the chat. I want to ask, in your opinion, what is the we all been like recently we've all been talking about like Web3 adoption. We want to see like, because to us like in Hong Kong, not many places are using elements of Web3. Many people haven't even heard of like Bitcoin or like Web3 before, let alone they don't really have like a wallet and stuff. So it's like pretty hard to do all these Web3 stuff, on-chain stuff. So in all of your guys' opinions, what is like the biggest obstacle facing widespread adoption of Web3 technology, and how do you think they can be overcome?
I think that's really a very big topic that we are talking about over here. I think to start with, we might need to start from basics. So for example, it's really called education here. So without the education, there is no chance of us to have a wide adoption of Web3, Metaverse, or wherever it is, or even just those NFT stuff. So starting from education, I think every single one of us in this room is responsible for doing the education. For no matter an individual is technical or non-technical, you have a chance to get involved into the crypto world. That's very important. For example, like personally, I've been doing a lot. Just give a very simple example, like for all the packets I'm giving to my kids, they are crypto only. So there's no more fiat currency. So my kid is not going to receive any fiat currency as a red packet. So no matter he likes it or not, he's going to figure out what exactly he can do about those stable coins, for example, or BTC, ETH, or disable the new token that we are currently creating. So having this kind of like education, I think everything will come naturally. If it does not appear or does not come up, then there might be some other reasons. So I'm not the guy to say, hey, in the future it's going to be Web3, it's going to be wherever it is. But if we just focus on the education, I think if it is really something which is really valuable, then it will just conquer the world. If it is not, then just let it be. Yeah, that's my opinion here.
At least it was like fun, and we learned some things from it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, yeah, education, aka like the blockchain 101. But the first thing that we have to do if it's really gonna conquer the world and stuff is to like invite like other people to learn about the massive technologies and like possibly like follow the career path with you guys and participate in hackathons, just get your hands dirty and stuff like that. So for example, like if someone comes from like a different field, for example, like AI, recently I know there's been a lot of chat about artificial intelligence, for example, like the hype around ChatGPT and stuff. How do you see Web3 technology intersecting with other emerging technologies, such as like AI, as I mentioned, or like IoT? Like how can these two industries possibly work together and create something big from this, in your opinion?
So, okay, I'll go ahead. So, actually, I am working exactly at the intersection of Web3 and AI. So I guess I'll have my 2 cents on this. So, well, one reason. So earlier I mentioned like ZKP, zero knowledge proof, and one reason that really drawn me into it is the application of AI into the blockchain. So essentially, what you can do is you can do kind of private computation on AI on blockchain, running some AI machine learning model on blockchain, etc. And I think it's a very well. First of all, it's a very good gateway for Web2 companies or Web2 developers to get into Web3, right? Because AI is a big thing, and every companies already know AI or already are using AI in their day-to-day operation. So having that incorporated into the blockchain and having some advantage over the traditional way that they're doing it, for example, some trustless computation that everyone can trust that the ML the machine learning model is running authentically, for example. So that could really draw people in. And I think it also goes hand in hand with Internet of Things. So for instance, there is this company that's called WorldCoin that I came across when I'm doing zero knowledge machine learning. And what they're doing is they're doing biometric authentication of your wallet, right? And using actually machine learning model to scan your retina. And so these kind of IoT also could help with adoption, right? So how we are all very used to biometric like Face ID and fingerprints right now. So how does like the Web3 wallet user experience translate to that? Because right now the Web3 user experience is not bad, but it's very different from what people already know. So it's actually easier if like there is something that so I guess it goes back to the previous question as well, is like with IoT and with AI, it could potentially brings Web3 into kind of the public face into the face of public more, and also create a more kind of familiar experience for the public to actually adopt blockchain technology.
Good insight. It kind of reminds me of like a hackathon which I participated in like last year, which it was a blockchain hackathon, and I put some IoT elements in it. So it's actually pretty easy and interesting to like see how these different fields interact with Web3 and possibly make like a difference with it. And there's many applications that you can just like build on top of it. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think interaction between AI and blockchain, the first come to my mind is actually the oracle role that the AI can play. It will be significantly help the blockchain to connect to the real data, because the AI can automatically analyze the real world data and provide to the blockchain. So it's really helpful. And the other thing, I do agree that actually right now the Web3 space that for the general users that's pretty hard to adopt is actually the user experience from the dApp that we develop. Let's take an example for the MetaMask, because I remember in 2018, there's lots of my friends who is in the financial sector, some bankers, and they're asking me, how can I participate in like buying cryptos? And then I but they don't know how to open an account in with the MetaMask. That is very disastrous for them to learn what is the seed phrase, what is private key, public key, what is a signing, why when making a transaction, when they suddenly something pop up and ask them to sign, do I need to pay for that? So this kind of experience actually is actually kind of an obstacles for them to adopt furthermore for our Web3 space product. So I think better designed with this design with the IoT can actually help dissolving the boundary between these physical worlds and the digital content. So yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes, one big thing is actually about like the user experience, but I believe personally myself, the user experience would be improved over time.
Yeah, hopefully by us.
Okay, so like a bit of a different question. Do you think that cryptocurrencies will ever be able to like replace traditional currencies? Like, do you think that's a possibility? How can that happen? When maybe?
Like the steps towards it.
I actually never believe that it will be a replacement, but a coexistent. The current our current fiat system will actually interact with these crypto space. It's not a replacing for sure. It's like a bridge.
Well, actually, yeah, that kind of reminds me of like recently Goldman Sachs, they took some stake in FTX like a few days ago, and obviously FTX is collapsing right now. But when you see like Goldman Sachs or even like JP Morgan, these big like bank corporations getting to like crypto Web3, many people in a way it's like a good thing, right? Like in a way, it's like, hey, they're seeing it as a positive thing. But when they really like do these kind of stuff, it's not really because of things like centralization or like the core ethics of blockchain. Instead, it's mostly about just like them to make more money and stuff. So again, going back to the education part, yeah, it's important to have education, blockchain 101 skills, and it's not in all for the money. And as you said, it won't like totally replace fiat, but it will work in conjunction with fiat. I think that's a pretty realistic worldview that could possibly happen with the crypto and Web3 space. And many technology, the technology of the blockchain, the Web3, can be implemented directly to like other industries as well. So I think that's one like more realistic worldview of like how that will happen.
Yeah, so I think this is a very interesting question. I think, for example, from Crypto Block's perspective, we've been working with Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Bank of Thailand on the central bank digital currency projects. And so are we also considering that as cryptocurrency? Definitely yes. So what would be the future about those CBDCs? We can actually consider them as stablecoins as well. If you consider that, for example, like in Hong Kong, the government is trying to push this EHKD thing. And if each EHKD is really there, then I would actually consider having this EHKD rather than my USDT. Definitely, I believe that if I have a pair in the liquidity pool, for example, like ABLE versus the EHKD, I would feel that I would be a proponent, basically a promoter of this kind of pairs versus the ABLE and USDT. Not that I don't like USDT, but I'm also thinking about from the risk consideration, this is actually a good approach and the future as well. So just like what Cheryl mentioned, cryptocurrency is going to have a blur definition in the future, or a much wider definition in terms of what exactly we mean or refer by using this terminology called cryptocurrency. So basically, what we believe is that the Hong Kong government call it the virtual asset, and I prefer the term called digital asset. So it's basically an electronic form to represent that kind of asset, and also different kinds of use cases. For example, payment, like cross-border payment. You can have different kinds of payment rails to do the cross-border payment by using the traditional SWIFT method, or by using this kind of cryptocurrency. So I think in the future, we are all going to talk about cryptocurrency. In fact, we are all going to use tokens one way or the other. It's all about who's backing it and whether it is like totally decentralized or is actually backed with some kinds of sovereign currency or other kinds of XML. So it's going to be in that trend, in my opinion. When would that happen? It's going to happen gracefully in the coming 10, 20 years for the decades to come.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
Maybe like, what are some other ways you can see the Web3 space evolve in the next like 5 to 10 years?
Fairfield, would you like to go first?
Sure. I think the utility of NFT is definitely going to be big. So far, NFT have been a lot about membership, about collectibles, about all the privilege that you're getting. But I really think the next wave of NFT is not going to be like the previous bull market. Like people are not just going to pay money without thinking about the utility of NFT. So NFT tickets, there are so many discussions about it. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be probably one of the widest things that is going to be used.
Yeah.
Even in Hong Kong, we always talk about like Wong Ao Dong, yellow bull, which is like people oversell, people buying tickets and then selling it off for a higher price, right? So with NFT, there's a proof of who purchased it. If it's non-transferable, then essentially you have to give up your wallet like every single time that you want to sell a ticket. So something like that, I think that would be like the next big thing, at least for mass adoption.
Yeah, because like currently most people don't know too much about blockchain. They just see an NFT, they see the headlines like our NFT sold for $100,000, things like that. And it's really misleading, but there's a lot of applications of NFTs besides for art.
Yeah, like more utility is gonna come into like this space in the next coming few years. So that's a pretty good point that you covered.
There's actually a latest news about the usage of the NFT ticketing. Is quite exciting development. It's about the LG Smart TV. Okay, they actually announced that they will integrate with the Web3 technology, allows the audience to access to metaverse and make use of the NFT ticketing to access to other services of theirs. So there will be a NFT shopping mall like the marketplace and other stuff that appears on the smart TV, and then they are able to make the payment on the smartphone, so with their wallet. So it's a pretty exciting use cases that is happening. I think there's lots of the development on the utility NFT, or what we're calling the dynamic NFT. Is this kind of development is actually ongoing. And so in 5 to 10 years, I think that will be widely used, because the nature of the NFT, the ERC 721 or the ERC 1155, I think the nature of this kind of smart contract is quite variable for any NFT that can prove their ownerships and store the data there. So I think that will be widely used.
Yeah, so and then from my perspective, I think the wallet is the key. And I think wallet related stuff is going to be what the coming 5 or 10 years that everybody will look into. I would like to look into the adoption rate of the wallets in the entire world, about the adoption rate, like YOY, year-over-year growth of the wallet. What I'm seeing is that maybe we will see more and more big corporates that they are going to roll out their wallets. Because basically, whoever owns the wallet, usually everybody is talking about not your key, not your crypto, right? So basically, your key is basically your wallet. And I definitely believe that a lot of corporates, big corporates, they are really thinking about rolling out their own wallets. Just imagine now we are using this MetaMask wallet. Put aside whether I like it or not, put aside my own personal preference. Just think about if some big corporates has a wallet and saying that this is a non-custodial wallet versus like MetaMask. And the traditional users, I'm not talking about the native Web3 or native crypto users, they may prefer using those wallets coming from those big corporates because of the trust. Like some big MNCs or big global banks, they have their wallets coming up and they are just considering this as an electronic means of their bank book. So actually, I'm thinking that like in the coming 5 to 10 years, there will be some major advancement on the wallets, and that wallet will empower what Kathy and Cheryl mentioned over here as the applications.
Yeah, wallet adoption and possibly if these more and more big corporates create their own wallet, get into this space, I think as like a side effect as well as like a correlation and a conversation, more people will finally understand this space and they may like interact with other applications within this space without possibly even like knowing that they're interacting with it. So yeah, like wallet adoption is one big thing which is gonna happen in probably the next 5 to 10 years in Web3. Also, like one trend right now is about soulbound tokens. So these soulbound tokens are something which like Vitalik has been like advocating about. What are you guys' thoughts about like soulbound tokens and even maybe like account abstraction that will like help the performance like on chain in the future and like create more applications for like users and stuff? Because this is a topic which I've been researching for a while now, and I just want to get some of your insights about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just about to mention account abstraction because that's actually very closely related to Duncan's mentioning about wallet technology. And also, you know, earlier Cheryl was mentioning how like her friends was having so much trouble using wallet because, oh, do I have to pay for every single thing that I'm doing? So I think, you know, with account abstraction, which is coming pretty soon, in the last, like, I think DEF CON, it was like highly promoted and the protocol is already actually experimenting. And the idea is you can have, well, with account abstraction, then you can have like contract wallets, essentially also allowing other applications to pay gas fee for you. I think for the mass users, that's probably the most important thing, is that when they go to an application, go to a dApp to use it, they can use it, for example, in that dApp's currencies, not have to worry about like always have to have Ethereum for gas fee, even though actually I primarily work with stablecoin. So I think account abstraction, when it's gonna, well, it has already prompted a lot of new wallets to be developed in the field. And I believe as it is actually adopted and integrated into the Ethereum blockchain, there will be just a lot more wallets. So pretty much we can have a lot of wallets to choose from. And it will feel, well, I hate to put it that way, but it will feel more and more Web2 in a sense when we go to like payments and stuff.
Yeah, like one account abstraction wallet is the Slope wallet. Have you heard of it?
I'm not sure. I'm terrible with names, but I mean I've known of a few wallets that is either kind of in an experimental feature to do so, or that actually rolled out, I think, in Bogota in DEF CON. So actually it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna make the basically make the whole user experience much more easier and like, for example, interact with dApps and NFTs and stuff like that because of like the paymaster thing that you mentioned. Also like the custom signature scheme So possibly you can put like a post-quantum signature scheme, and maybe Duncan can help out on that, I guess.
Yeah, so I don't have anything to add over here. I think Kathy has already given a pretty comprehensive overview about that. Just a little takeaway from my perspective is that this soulbound token thing is just part of the campaign to bring the crypto or the Web3 into mass adoption, basically. I think this is really a right direction, and yeah, definitely I would also like to see what kind of things that I can contribute. For example, writing a little step on the post-quantum signature so that people will be able to choose this kind of like future-ready signature if they want to do so.
Yeah, amazing. Again, this is all part of like the push the Web3 adoption. We have like so many of these new technologies coming in, and it's just pretty exciting to see what's gonna happen in the near future, considering that account abstraction is gonna come like possibly in the near future with like the ERP 4337 and like the dark chatting. I just want to ask like we like for the past 20 minutes or 10 minutes we've been talking about like what is the future of Web3? What kind of applications? How is it going to be driven forward and stuff? I want you guys' opinion, possibly specifically Duncan and Cheryl, because I know like Kathy, you've been in the space for a much shorter time than Duncan or Cheryl. How much progress do you think has been made throughout like these years from say like 2015 to like currently right now in like 2023? How much progress do you think has been made in the crypto space? And if so, how is the progress being driven, and what factors were taken to implement these new progress?
Yeah, very interesting question. Cheryl, would you like to go first, or I don't mind if...
You can go first.
Or yeah, so that's a very interesting question. Actually, let's just do a comparison between the blockchain or crypto development and the internet development. So I'm pretty old. So while I was in the college, I was studying the internet thing, actually pre-internet thing. And it took about like 20 years for the thing to get matured and to have the applications coming out. The first application of internet is basically like email, one-way, non-interactive, and then gradually, that's why we have like gradually after a few years, we got the Web 1, right? Like the Netscape and one-way push is kind of like TV shows. And then we gradually have that kind of interactive development. So almost every 10 years, we got one major leap when compared with when we look into the internet development. So about the blockchain or the crypto is a little bit faster, but I would like to say like in the last 10 years, starting from 2009, the white paper from Satoshi Nakamoto, all the way to now, we have done quite an amazing job collectively by the industry. Thanks to not just the technical guys, but also the financial guys, that a lot of applications have been brought up. And everybody has been so bullish, so aggressive, and sometimes maybe too aggressive, right? When we look into some of those companies, they are just doing things that it's just out of their hands when they become too aggressive. But actually, this is just part of the experience. What I would like to say is that for the crypto development, right now it's kind of like we have maybe 20% there. If you think about when compared with like the internet development, starting from email all the way to now interactive. Right now we are using this Zoom to do this kind of interactive communication. So for crypto, I think we are still building a lot of infrastructure, especially as Kathy mentioned about the zero knowledge proof system. We're actually at the very, very beginning stage. Most of the my friends or even myself, I feel that I need to spend a lot more time to study about that, to contribute more. even on the education part, as I mentioned, is to educate everybody about how to make use of zero knowledge proof and what's the main objective of what kind of things that we can achieve, what we can do, what we cannot do by using blockchain or crypto. That's also very important. So I have to say, right now we are still at a very preliminary stage, but a very exciting preliminary stage. And we actually need to rely on you guys, young generation, to contribute and build more stuffs in the coming 10 years, 20 years, and also be successful in your career because of crypto and because of your contribution on this field. Yeah.
Great advice. Great advice. Speaking of advice, basically, we're almost out of time right now. Thanks for Prit. So basically, since we're out of time right now, can you three speakers, in one sentence, you guys please share one piece of advice that you want to send to the young crypto community or anyone who wants to come to this space? Just like one sentence, one piece of advice. Maybe Cheryl, you go first.
Be creative and your thinking should be out of the box when you're trying to solve something points. Because this field is really at the beginning, and I believe there is many innovative products is along the way. So I'm actually feel very exciting to see more and learn more.
Great. Kathy? Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, I guess mine will be more action driven. So I will say sign up for a Twitter account, get a MetaMask wallet, and just browse around all the white papers and all the dApps.
Great. I love that. Finally, Duncan.
Oh, Kathy and Cheryl, you guys took my words. So, so maybe I will add more about the education part. Follow Crypto4Kids, the YouTube channel. Follow us on Crypto Blog. Follow us on Avillion, and start learning more.
Yeah, great. All right, so our time here comes to an end. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this event. It was great learning about and thank you speakers for joining this event. It was actually really great insights from all three of you guys, and we all learned a lot from you guys. So as Jamin said, we'll be posting the video on YouTube. So if you were here just for a part of the interview, we be sure to check out the full video on YouTube, and you can get that link from our website, crypto4kids.org. So just to end over here, we're gonna take I don't know, like a small group picture. So if you guys could turn on your cameras, that would be great. So we're gonna take a small group picture in like 30 minutes. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Yeah. All right. So if you guys like, turn on your cameras. All right. Let's take the picture right now. All right. So 3, 2, 1. All right. That's great. So again, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much, speakers, for contributing your time to educate all of us and the young crypto community. Be sure to follow us, Crypto4Kids, on our social media platforms, because we're gonna host more of these events in the future and possibly host more in real life events. And also check out YouTube to learn more about blockchain and crypto, because as the speaker said, as action items, start digging yourself in this and contribute and just like have fun in this space and stuff. So yeah, thanks for joining. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. One sec. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go.
Bro, yeah, that was
So good.
yeah, went by pretty fast.